All right, let's do another ELA lesson today. We're going to begin by looking at the vocabulary we were introduced to yesterday. So the first word we looked at is react. React. When you react to something, you act in a way that shows you are aware of it. So who's reacting in this picture here? This guy's reacting to the catcher. It looks like the catcher's got the ball in his mitt, so he's going to try to slide under him. And this guy's reacting to the runner. He's got to tag him or he's going to get a run for his team. And the umpire's reacting to both of these guys, going to see if he gets home or if he tags him out. So reacting, when you react to something, you act in a way that shows you are aware of it. React. Look at our next word. Maybe. Oh boy, I went too far. Hang on one second. Sometimes this is easy. Sometimes these things are hard. That's words from last week, isn't it? We'll get to our words from this week. Good review, anyway, of these words. Now we're back. Okay. Our next word for this week is astounded. Look at these guys or girls. They're just astounded. If you're astounded by something, you're completely surprised by it. Maybe they're watching a scary movie, or maybe they're watching a ball game. More likely a movie, right? They're astounded by whatever is happening on the screen in front of them. It totally surprised them. Astounded. Luscious. Luscious is food. A food that is luscious is tasty and often juicy. What are these guys eating? Looks like strawberries to me. I love fresh strawberries. They are luscious for sure. Culinary. Culinary, something that's culinary, is connected to cooking. So here's a family cooking together. Looks like they're making something yummy. Culinary related to cooking. Offense. Look at that picture. That's funny. An offense is something that makes you feel hurt, annoyed, or insulted. Both the dog and the cat look mad, don't they? Maybe the cat smacked the dog in the face with its claw, and now the dog's like, why did you do that? And the cat's like, 'cause you're a dog and I don't like you. Offense. Crestfallen. You're crestfallen. You're sad and discouraged. Maybe this guy lost the game. Maybe he was the goalie and they scored the last goal on him, and now he's ready to cry. He's crestfallen. And opted. If you opted for something, you chose it. This guy is opting to lay out get his clothes ready, school clothes ready, so he'll be ready to wake up and head to school in the morning. Opted to choose something. And that's it. That's the last word. Well, let's read our story together one more time. Now you're cooking. And we're on, again, page 184 in your reading book. If you want to pause the video and read along with me, that would be great. Martina Deanda couldn't have been more nervous. A few moments ago, she'd heard her name announced on the school intercom. She was one of 2 finalists in the Spring Cook-Off, an annual event sponsored by the school district and the local farmers market. She couldn't believe that she'd made it this far. Before she'd entered the contest, her experience in the kitchen had been limited to pouring milk on her cereal for breakfast. Otherwise, her cooking skills were non-existent. She was an avid viewer of television cooking shows, though. Her best friend, Avani, came up to her smiling, hugged her, and said, "Now you're cooking." Avani chuckled at her own pun. When Martina didn't react, Avani said, "Get it? You're in a cooking competition and you're moving to the final cook-off. So now you're cooking, right?" It wasn't that she didn't get it. Martina was just astounded that she'd made it to the finals. She was competing with her classmate, Joey Cardenas, whose mother owned the best Mexican restaurant in town, La Tampequena. On weekends, Joey helped in the restaurant bussing tables, sweeping the floors, and learning to cook from the chef on Saturdays between lunch and dinner service. He was sure to win. Martina wished she could share in Avani's excitement. "More like my goose's cook," she told her friend. "You won't win with that kind of attitude," said Avani. "You should be more positive." "Why? I mean, Joey knows how to cook. Me? I've only have my cooking shows for inspiration." Avani put her hands on Martina's shoulders. "You're just looking at this all wrong. You don't know as much about cooking as Joey does, but look how far you've gotten today. There were 10 contestants. First, you baked some luscious breakfast empanadas. And then you made that roasted vegetable panini that the judges described as mouth-watering. Now the competition is down to the two best cooks, you and Joey. That should tell you something. I guess you're right. I'm just nervous. Avani smiled. I think most people are nervous when they compete. It means that you're doing what's really important to you. It really is, Martina said. Thanks, Avani. Moments later, a voice on the intercom asked for everyone but the two contestants to leave the stage. Contestants, it's time for you to show off your culinary skills, announced MC and local television news anchor Jack Jackson. Joey Cardina's mom whispered some last-second advice in his ear and left the stage. Joey looked confident as he walked up to the girls. You ready, Freddie? He asked. Hey, Joey, said Avani. Martina is more than ready. As she turned to go, Avani looked over her shoulder and said, She's so on fire today the thermometer's going to explode. Joey chuckled for a moment, but then his expression became serious. You ready for this? He asked Martina. As much as I'll ever be. You? Well, you know, cooking's in my genes, he said. No offense. None taken, she responded. But don't be surprised if I cook circles around you. If you say so, may the best cook win. With that, the two took their places. Mr. Jackson joined them at the table where 2 paper bags from the farmer's market awaited them. The audience became quiet. Mr. Jackson looked out over the crowd and said, We've come to my favorite part of this competition, the finale. In addition to being the MC, Mr. Jackson had served as one of the judges for the very first spring cook-off ever. Miss Cardenas, Joey's mom, had won the first one. Martina looked over at Joey, who for the first time since the start of the competition looked nervous. He kept fidgeting with the strings on his apron. Martina imagined that the Cardenas family reputation was on the line. Martina looked out at the audience and saw her own parents both beaming with pride. Avani was sitting next to them, pumping a fist in the air and mouthing the words, Go Martina! Mr. Jackson asked the contestants to empty their bags. Carefully, though, you don't want to crack those eggs. Your challenge is this. Using part or all of every ingredient in the bag, plus a dash of this or a pinch of that, make a delicious, healthful meal. In each bag, there were 3 eggs, a red and yellow bell pepper, a tomato, strawberries, and a peach. A rack of spices, seasonings, and other ingredients stood next to the table. Martina looked over at Joey, who was now smiling, rubbing his hands together. She could almost see the gears turning in his brain. He knew what he was making. She had no clue. You'll have 20 minutes, said Mr. Jackson. Cooks, are you ready? The two nodded. Joey was anxious to get to work. Martina was still thinking, but wasn't coming up with anything. Oh no, she thought. Joey's going to win this competition. Cook, cried Mr. Jackson and started the timer. Martina ran over to the rack to see if looking at all the spices and other ingredients would inspire her. She saw a basket of bread. Sitting on top were 2 bolillos, a kind of bread that reminded her of an early morning visiting with her grandparents in Mexico, warm, toasty mornings. And then it struck her. She had more than just the cooking shows to inspire her. She also had memories of her abuelito servando, teaching her to fix his favorite breakfast. Martina took the 2 pieces of bread, a sprig of cilantro, and some butter, and then she got cooking. In the end, Martina didn't win the cook-off, but she wasn't crestfallen. She noticed that the judges had finished all of her dish, while Joey's was left half-eaten. Mr. Jackson reminded her that the instructions called for a healthful meal, and though she had used the peppers, tomatoes, strawberry, and peach, she still could have separated the egg whites from the yolks and opted for olive oil instead of butter. But I'll tell you what, Miss Dienda, he said, that was one delicious meal. Martina walked up to Joey, who held the trophy over his head. Congratulations, Joey, she said. You cooked a better meal than mine. It looks that way, he said, but he glanced at the judges' plates. There's always next year, though. Yes, she thought, there's always next year, and there would be many more visits to her grandparents' home between now and then. She couldn't wait for her next visit. Maybe she'd give them a telephone call that night and tell them about the competition. All right, cool story. I liked what she made, didn't you? I would have eaten it. Sounds very good for breakfast. All right, we're going to move on, and one of the things that I'm going to have you do for me today is this. Now, you're going to have 3 assignments today. I've already mentioned you're going to have your vocabulary assignment, matching the words to their meanings. You're going to have the spelling practice for the first 10 spelling words. And then you're going to have this. We're going to take what we did yesterday. Now, I returned your sentences to you, so you should be able to access them, okay? The ones you wrote yesterday. And I want you to pick one of the main ideas, one of the 2 main ideas. You don't have to do both of them. You've got to pick one of them. And then you're going to add your sentences. They don't have to be in the order you wrote them in. And one more final sentence, and you're going to have a paragraph. Now, when we write a paragraph, we indent. So if you're going to indent on your keypad, see, let me get mine in the right place here. You want to press the button on the top left, near the top left that says Tab. Just press it one time, and it'll scoot you over, and you'll be indented. Okay? And then the first sentence you want to write is the topic sentence, the main idea. And I'm going to choose this one from yesterday. Breakfast is an important meal. Okay? So there's my topic sentence. Now I'm going to add my 3 sentences that I wrote yesterday. Now notice let's talk about some basics first. We indented, started a sentence with a capital letter, ended it with a period. Don't forget that. That's important. And then you're going to start your sentences. So I'm going to start with my question I ask. Who wants to sit at school feeling hungry because you didn't have breakfast? Okay. What else did I type about? Eating breakfast will give you the energy you need to make it through the day. Some protein, fresh eggs, and a delicious cup of juice will get you going in the mornings. So there's my 3 sentences that I wrote yesterday. You notice how I spelled mornings wrong? Did you see what happens when you do that? It pops up. If you click on it, it underlines it in red like that. It means you spelled it wrong. Click on it. And all you got to do is click on the right spelling. It'll change it for you. That way you know you spelled your words right. And now I've got this, but it doesn't really end. It doesn't have a really good ending, does it? I want to end it. So I want to say something like, so don't forget to eat a healthy breakfast each morning. So now let's see if my paragraph sounds good. I've got my main idea. Breakfast is an important meal, and everything else after it should tell why breakfast is an important meal. Who wants to sit at school feeling hungry because you didn't have breakfast? I should have put a question mark. Eating breakfast will give you the energy you need to make it through the day. Some protein from fresh eggs and a delicious cup of juice will get you going in the mornings. So don't forget to eat a healthy breakfast each morning. Okay? I'm going to put each day because I use morning twice there in 2 sentences, the end of 2 sentences. Some protein from fresh eggs and a delicious cup of juice will get you going in the mornings. So don't forget to eat a healthy breakfast each day. Okay, so there's my paragraph. I'm happy with that. I think it sounds good. I did what I was supposed to do. I typed my main idea. I added my 3 sentences from yesterday, and I came up with a sentence to kind of end the paragraph. Okay, so notice indent, begin each sentence with a capital letter, end each sentence with punctuation. Okay, and you'll have a good paragraph. So make sure you do those things today. Remember the 2 main ideas, just in case you're having trouble finding yours from yesterday. I did send it back to you if you did it. Your 2 ideas from yesterday: breakfast is an important meal, or computers are an important tool for learning. So you're picking one of those and writing a paragraph about it today. All right, I'll let you get started. You got 3 things to do, so get on them.